And sorry to keep you a few minutes waiting. We were just getting off the practice. Um, Looking back at last night, our offensive players of the game, Josh Simon, Rocket Sanders, Rashawn Lee. Our defensive players of the game were Kyle Kennard, Dylan Stewart, and Jalen Kilgore. Our special teams player of the game was Alex Herrera. Our Gamecock MVP was Yemi Rodriguez, and our nutrition staff, because we keep that open, please, because we did not have any issues with cramping, any of that hot day, and our guys handled it really well. Scout off was Jaworn Howe and Nam Manziel. Scout D was Ron Darius Porter, not Ronnie, but his brother Rondo, and then Buddy Mack, and then our scout special teams player was Larry Scott. Really good job by those guys working all week. Injury-wise, came out of the game pretty good. Obviously, we'll have more information for you as the week goes because we now have an SEC injury policy. So I'll say what I need to say about injuries when I have to say it, but nothing that we think that will affect us this week. Looking back at the game last night, we played really hard. Offensively, thought we ran the ball effectively. I know you guys look at stats and you say, well, they averaged however many yards per carry. Well, I realize in college football that sacks affect your rushing yardage. I'm not condoning sacks, but if you look at when we actually just called runs, how successful we were. We had to bleed some time at the end of the game and we were taking a knee. So Lenoris went backwards on 3 plays in a row. And then we had some goal line runs that weren't gonna be long runs. But if you just take, the goal line out of it and the sacks and the plays where we took a knee, we averaged almost 5 yards a carry last night. We had the ball for 35 minutes. Biggest issue with us is we just missed our shots downfield. But when you go back and watch the tape, like I know you all do, make sure you watch the effort and watch how physical our guys played, particularly up front on the offensive line. We started 8 new starters last night for the first time. Thought they settled into the game as the game went. And, got a lot of confidence in that group. Otherwise, I wouldn't have gone for it on 4th and 1 on our own 35-yard line or whatever it was. Defensively, we were active, 5 sacks, 4 forced fumbles, 2 interceptions. We were able to affect the quarterback and generate pressure on the quarterback without bringing blitzes. And disappointing thing was the 2 explosives that we gave up, the long pass and the long run on 4th down, which both of those were just busts by us and us not being where we were supposed to be. And then pleased with the way Alex Herrera kicked off and kicked field goals, and then really excited about Juju McDowell and his potential as a returner in the kick return game and the punt return game. He did some really good things last night. So like I told you guys in the press conference afterwards, not happy with the way that we played. We have a standard around here that we want to play with, and we weren't to where we need to be last night. But I also know there's a lot of teams that are feeling pretty crappy today because they're 0-1, and we're not one of them. We're 1-0. If you go back and you look at the Sun Belt, the teams they've upset over the last 8 years, there's a who's who of college football that in a game like that did not find a way to win the game. We did. We stayed together. We dealt with adversity. We kept our poise. We got it to the 4th quarter. We don't want to get games to the 4th quarter and win them versus group of 5 teams. I'm not saying that, but there's a who's who of college football that were in those kind of games and they panicked and they didn't come together and they lost. We aren't one of them. We got a W. We're guaranteed 12 opportunities. We got a lot of work to do. We just got off the practice field, had a really good practice, and eager to get to work on Kentucky as soon. I'm actually already at work on Kentucky, but eager to get back to work on Kentucky as soon as we get off this call. So fire away with any questions you got, please.
Hey Shane, it's Dave. Just looking at the offensive issues, was there one glaring problem or problems that maybe affected you guys not being as effective as you wanted to be?
I think just missed opportunities, like I said. I mean, we threw some deep balls and we had a drop. We had a chance to, a couple conversions where we didn't quite execute like we needed to in the passing game. Run game wise, don't finish a block. I mean, when you watch the tape, I know it's not what anybody wants to hear, but when you watch the tape, I was, excited. A lot of correctable things, and we played physical, man. I mean, go back and watch that 4th down run with Rocket, watch what Case and Henry does to the run through linebacker on the 4th down play. Watch how Rocket Sanders runs through 2 arm tackles, and there's a pretty good example on that play, Dave, where if we just finish our block, at one of the positions, it's probably a touchdown. So there's a lot of things on there that on offense, if 10 guys do their job right, it's probably not going to look great. And we need all 11, and we were just a little bit off last night. And, some bust up front and protection on simple rushes that we got to get cleaned up. But everything's fixable, and we're an offense that's going to continue to grow and get better each week. And we did some good things last night, and we'll continue to get better for sure.